Hello, I'm Rob, and welcome to R&B Reviews, where not only do I review new releases, but also classic and obscure movies from the golden age of Hollywood. Today, I have a treat. I'm going to be reviewing a movie called The Lost Squadron, a melodramatic action film that was released in 1932, as well as sharing some behind-the-scenes stories about it. The film is about three World War I pilots, Gibby, played by Richard Dix, Red, played by Joel McCrea, and Woody, played by Robert Armstrong, who return home after the war to find their futures uncertain. Later, at the start of the Great Depression, they go across the country to Hollywood and find jobs as stunt fliers for war pictures produced by egotistical director Erich Von Furst, played by actor-director Erich Von Stroheim.
Just what I'm telling you guys. It's easy money. Well, look at me. I got a car, this apartment, I almost got money in the bank.
You're flying ship for the movie?
And boy, is it soft. $50 a flight, and all you have to do is a couple of outside loops, tear off a wing, and land upside down.
What kind of a guy is this Von Furst?
Oh, he's a terrible fathead. No on-the-level producer will give him a job.
You mean he makes his own pictures?
He has to. The real producers won't have anything to do with him. But he certainly dishes out the thrill.
I first heard of this movie actually not too long ago. I was actually watching another movie, The Grand Illusion, which was a 1937 French war film about a small group of French officers who are prisoners of war during World War I who are plotting an escape. I was watching this movie on Turner Classic Movies, which shows old films, and the host talked about one of the cast members, Erich Von Stroheim, and how he appeared in this movie, The Lost Squadron, as a manipulative movie director 5 years earlier. Now, for those of you that don't know who Erich Von Stroheim was, he was quite a Hollywood legend. He was an Austrian director, actor, and producer during the silent era who worked both in Hollywood and Europe. Stroheim is still celebrated as one of the first of the auteur directors. He helped introduce more sophisticated plots and noirish sexual and psychological undercurrents into the cinema. He was one of the most critically respected motion picture directors of the 20th century, best known for the uncompromising realism and accuracy of detail in his films. His 1924 film Greed is considered to be one of the finest and most important films ever made. Von Stroheim had a reputation for being difficult for producers and studios. Stroheim's reputation for frequently going over budget and workers' rights issues cost his career as a director and subsequently became a well-respected character actor, particularly in French cinema. You might also recognize him as Gloria Swanson's butler in the movie Sunset Boulevard. Now, over the years, Von Stroheim said that these stories of him being a dictator on the set and clashing with producers, cast, and crew were exaggerated. And when he was offered this movie in The Lost Squadron, the character's name in the script was Erich Von Stroheim. He said he would play the part only if the name was changed, so the character became Erich Von Furst. Another reason why I wanted to see The Lost Squadron was because it sounded like another movie I reviewed on this channel called The Stuntman, where Peter O'Toole also played a director that manipulates the cast and crew just to get the shots he wants, from embarrassing actors in front of people in order to get the right emotions in his shots, or not telling the stuntman everything so he gets a natural reaction from them on camera. Finally, the cast caught my attention. I had seen Richard Dix and Joel McCrea in a lot of older movies, and for those of you that love the movie Blazing Saddles, you might remember the line from the movie,
Our fathers came across the prairie, fought Indians, fought drought, fought locusts, fought Dix. Remember when Richard Dix came in here and tried to take over this town?
Also, Robert Armstrong, the other pilot, appeared in the original 1933 version of King Kong. Plus, we have an early performance of Mary Astor, who would go on to appear in the film noir detective mystery The Maltese Falcon in 1941. Plus, of course, Von Stroheim. I gotta say, I enjoyed the movie, and it had to have been very groundbreaking for its time. The aerial shots were impressive, as long as you don't compare it to the ones that appear in Top Gun Maverick. For an early talking movie that came out in 1932, the movie was not stagey. There is a lot of camera angles, and even the camera is mobile at different points. I thought the movie was very intelligent about the struggles veterans must have faced coming back from the war, or any war in general. In one of the early scenes, one of the pilots, after finding out the war is over, says, in just a matter of seconds, "The quiet is driving me nuts." Also, McCrea's character returns home and finds he no longer has a job. Armstrong finds out his business partner stole money and no longer has anything, and Dix finds out his actress fiance, played by Mary Astor, has moved on with someone else. The storyline of coming home and after a war would be done better in a movie called The Roaring Twenties with Jamie Cagney, where he becomes a bootlegger when he's unable to find a job after serving during the war. I also liked how the actors say a lot with their faces without dialogue. When the pilots end up in LA, they happen to walk past a movie premiere, and Richard Dix recognizes the star as none other than his ex-fiancée, who is now married to Von Furst. You could just see the pain in his face. The movie also explores the exploitation of power. The sadistic Von Furst is jealous of his wife's previous relationship to Gibby, and often the pilot is given the most dangerous stunts to do in the film. You know, is he trying to kill him? Who knows? We also see how fame is affecting Woody because he develops alcoholism as a result of the amount of money he is making on these movies, as well as to combat his fear of flying these airplanes that are old and falling apart.
No, not by chance. Oh, you know, just a couple of warm up the old motors, huh?
It'd be sober to fly those old crates. 2 to 1 shots, they'll fall apart every time they go up.
Well, if I'm going to fall apart, I'd rather do it stewed than sober. Doesn't hurt as much, huh?
A lot of the later movies would explore the psychology of characters even deeper, like, again, The Roaring Twenties, Goodfellas, the 1983 version of Scarface, but it's interesting seeing it at an early stage here. I liked the acting from the cast mostly, although comic actor Hugh Herbert, who plays the pilot's mechanic, was not given that much to do. And Astor's character, I also felt, was not as interesting, and we don't really see what she would display in her acting later on. Like, again, the Maltese Falcon. Von Stroheim, I thought, was great as the manipulative director who does whatever it takes to get the shots he wants.
This is a war picture, not a musical comedy. Have you any brains? This is supposed to be war, death, hell, destruction, not a Sunday school picnic. I'm making this picture for the theater, not for the ash curd. Now we've got to retake it, and we're going to retake it until you do what I tell you.
At one point, a plane is crashing, and the pilot in there might die. And he's like, just keep rolling the cameras. Don't stop. Keep rolling. I was really surprised also to see a character give the finger in this movie. My only other issue with this movie is I feel like the movie kind of petered out at the end. The last act goes into dark territory, which I found to be a bit surprising and unusual, but you see a lot of shadow photography again, which would be utilized in the 1940s with film noir. The movie does have some other flaws as well. There's a love story with McCrea and Dix competing for Woody's sister. It doesn't get the development it needs. It just starts and then concludes abruptly. I like the movie for laying the foundation for later movies about how Hollywood is really a dark, manipulative place. But the movie, you know, it just starts scratching the surface of these inner complexities of its characters. I thought it was good for what it was, but I like the various elements of this movie probably better, and what we would see these elements done better in much later films. But I think if you're interested in the history of movies, or if you're a fan of that era, or you're looking for something different to watch, I recommend giving it a try. It is available through the Warner Archive DVD collection. I'm not sure if it's available on streaming though, so that's my take on the movie, The Lost Squadron. If you've happened to see this movie, what did you think of it? Please post your comments in the comment box below. Please check out some other movie reviews, maybe some new releases. Please hit the like button, consider being a subscriber, and please hit the bell notification so you know when I have a video up. Thank you very much for watching.